Hey everyone, it is Quinn here, and today I'm just doing a really off-the-cuff kind of lesson. We're going to look at just some interesting ideas you can use with the Dorian scale, just some interesting patterns and shapes that you might find some use out of that I really like, that I think gives you kind of like a cool, kind of more modern sound. So if you're not familiar with the Dorian scale, it's the same notes as G major, just based around an A minor chord instead of a G major chord. So if you got a nice A minor 7 right there, you've got the notes A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, and A, and then that repeats in octaves. So let's look at some ideas that we can maybe grab just out of this kind of box one position right here. Maybe grabbing a few notes a little bit above that. So one shape I've been playing around with a bunch lately is this one right here. So you've got the notes B, G, C, B, and then G. So you have a little bit of a string skip in there. And I like to kind of throw that in just in the middle of like my, kind of regular maybe blues or rock kind of stuff. Maybe adding a few other notes around it too. What's cool is you can also sequence that. You can maybe double up on some notes. Add in a few other notes from the Dorian scale. That's one that I kind of like. One that I also picked up recently was this kind of hybrid picking pattern right here. It's going to sound like this. Going for like a little bit of a cleaner tone right there. So I'm kind of barring across the 5th fret, and I'm just going up that. I'm kind of stretching up, and I'm hitting the frets 9, 7, and 5 on at least the G, the D, and the A string coming down. And then when I get down to the low E string, I change it to 8, 7, and 5. So the notes that I'm hybrid picking, I'm just going over to the next 2 strings and plucking the 5th fret, which conveniently fits within the Dorian scale. So you have this kind of triplet pattern. You could also do it as like 8th notes. There's 16th notes, so you could do like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Something like that. That could also sound pretty interesting. I also like to do like a little hammer-on into some of that, and you could do this cool kind of cascading sort of sound. That can be cool. I'm just hammering up and then grabbing the next 2 strings at the 5th fret. Then coming back down. And then maybe resolving on A again, give it that Dorian flavor right there. Another shape that I've been using lately that I really like is this kind of stretchy sort of arpeggio. Sounds like this. Especially kind of doing that pattern at the top is really cool. So I'm getting almost like a sus2 arpeggio at first. Then sliding up to the flat 3rd right there. And then at the top I've got this really cool chord. It's kind of like an A minor 13. It's got the F sharp in it and then the B at the top. And I can make kind of a cool sweep picking kind of shape too, so. And I like to do that move at the top, kind of doing, kind of adding or ending it on that F sharp. Another cool idea you can do with the Dorian scales, you can kind of slide these 5th intervals around. So again, maybe end it on that F sharp right there too. I remember getting this from like a John Petrucci solo. I think Under the Glass Moon. he throws a little bit of that in there too. So if you just sort of follow the notes of the scale, maybe on the B string, just harmonize that with a fifth and do this sequence right here. And you can slide up and down the whole scale. Another thing I like to do is you can precede that with like an open B string or even an open high E string, and you could do almost kind of like a selective picking kind of thing. Now, I find that a really cool sound too. That's one I need to play around with a bit. So I'm palm muting it for a little extra effect right there. Just picking the open B string. And then I'm hammering on from my left hand. Maybe to start with like the E note here. And then I'm hammering with my left hand onto the high E string at the 7th fret. Now that gives you a pretty cool sound as well, and you can slide and move that around the whole fretboard. So even though B is more of like the ninth of the scale, it's not really like a chord tone of an A minor chord, still sounds really cool in this context. To make it maybe even a little bit weirder, you could also do the same pattern picking the high E string. That's also kind of an interesting idea, and you could even move it around and try like the open A string. You could take the same thing. Maybe moving it over to a little bit of a different string. So with that perfect fifth shape, I was doing it just on the A and the D string right there, but you could also move it up to some higher ones. Like you could pick the open A and hammer on onto the G and B strings. My cat is wanting to join in on this lesson right here. Yeah, so a couple cool Dorian ideas. So I gotta go take a break to pet my cat now. So thank you for watching.